Incidents involving chemical, biological, radiological and nuclear risks are all too common. They're known by the acronym of CBRN, and this is why the EU has established a series of centres of excellence across more than 40 countries in dealing with such incidents. Now the national focal points are having their first meeting here at the Square in Brussels.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. And it's a huge pleasure and honor for me to open this conference and be with you today. Centres of Excellence, it's a very ambitious initiative. It aims at really creating a culture of bottom-up identifications of risks and threats and opportunities to work regionally towards addressing those threats.
The EU has a similar program among the 28 member states now. It's that we work together in the fight against these threats, risks, emergency preparedness. And we felt compelling that we start to mirror those actions in other countries outside the European Union.
I think this is a very unique and I would say innovative initiative of the European Union to address the issue of the threats and the mitigate the threats and risks arising from CBRN, and working with the countries and the regions to really identify and assess their needs and priorities in order to come up with a regional platform for action that then contributes to the international platform. Is really a very innovative way of dealing with this problem.
Peut-être dans une situation idéale, il faudrait évoluer ces tables rondes. On les appelle réunions techniques, tables rondes.
As you know, in our global village today, what is important for each body is important for everybody. We have petrochemical industry. We suffer from instability in the region, in the Middle East in general, as you see in Syria and other countries. Also, we have the risk, as you hear always, of for example, the Iranian nuclear plant in Bushehr, which is on the Gulf shores.
The technologies used in Iraq and in Syria date back from previous wars. But what used to be highly secret is now fairly easily available on the internet. This is one of the many reasons why I attach a lot of importance to the concept of the Centres of Excellence.
Before we had this meeting where we were discussing about forming the national team, Kenya had been a subject of several terrorist attacks. Most of these attacks did not involve CBRN materials, but now we had that feeling that if those attacks, they were attacks which involved chemical agents or biological agents, possibly the severity of those attacks would have been terrible.
We'll show you today. Someone has received a letter, he opened the letter and there was a white powder in it. So he panicked, you know, there has been a lot about anthrax. So today we're going to show you how we take that sample. Our CIPCA team normally also works with a light decontamination team, that after they took the sample, they will be decontaminated because we're not sure if there's anything dangerous on the site.
The most interesting thing is today demonstration program. I like very much because I'm a technologist, so I can learn a lot how to take the sample for chemical or biological waste.
It is important for you to realize that the CBRN action change has...
Well, the Philippines, we don't discount the happening of accidents, even sometimes disasters. And it might, the possibility that it might involve some chemical materials.
Concerns regarding Fukushima remain, and as we were all reminded over the summer, the horror of the chemical weapons attack in Ghouta has led to unprecedented cooperation to try and eliminate chemical weapons from Syria. think what we see threats is indeed one of the major concerns. Take, for example, the risk that any of the CBRN materials fall in the hands of terrorists. But of course there's natural risks as well, such as pandemics, think of swine flu and concerns like that, SARS, etc., and criminal risks.
Well, the ambition of this initiative is precisely to make sure that all the informations are gathered and shared in a sort of a cooperative, voluntary move to prevent risks which could indeed be a threat for populations. This is a massive effort to prevent those risks.
We must improve our cooperation in the country, in the first step. And after that, we must improve our regional cooperation, and after that, our general cooperation or cooperation in the world. This conference will help us to find the best way, to find our gaps, and the final result will be network of safety in the world, I think.
Rather than a more traditional way of sort of trying to have a top-down approach and we will tell you from the centre what's your problem and how to address it, the Centres of Excellence very much want to sort of foster this homegrown culture of safe management.
So I've changed a little bit the order. What we're trying to do is, first of all, which for us in the European Union I think is fairly common, is when we have a problem, is to talk to our neighbors and to see on a regional basis or even on an EU basis to find common solutions and to work together.
It is very important because first of all you've got the expertise, you've got and then you're really backing up this initiative, and then Europe is really a country which knew the devastation of wars. And now you really want to insist that peace building is very important to you.
Can you go on the right? Can you please? Okay. Can I have a spy, please? Okay.
Thank you very much.
We've been on the field for over a year now, and I can say that the initiative has truly taken off and is now moving faster and faster into the right direction. More countries are getting on board, national focal points are being appointed, national teams are formed, and these people are engaging into activities, drills, exercises on the field, building their national action plans. All of that is moving into the right direction.
It is a new initiative, but at the same time it is an initiative that is very innovative, because very often the public and many governments are not really aware of the risk that CBRN poses, because too many governments have still the mindset of the WMD perspective, whereas we have moved, in my view, there is a time of civil protection that should be more predominant in the approach altogether.
There is a danger to present an overly negative picture. It's very good material for catastrophic scenarios for Hollywood movies, and that's not what this is all about. I think we need to be realistic about the challenges. We also need to be prepared to respond to any incident and train, for example, first responders. Just as overblowing, as you say, the risks is not a constructive approach, ignoring it doesn't work either.
We should not make people worry undoubtedly or unnecessarily. This is basically a preventive approach, what we're doing. It's even a conflict prevention approach, I would say. It is to see that the countries work together in case and are ready in case of an emergency or a catastrophe.